that forget America, white America is an irredeemably racist country, and that the only course for the Negroes is to bring about a final, violent, apocalyptic confrontation.
Having said that, let's take a look at this. So, 30 places in America that are getting poor. Let's see which one is getting poorer the most. This is an article that's a month ago. If you go all the way down, top 5, Buffalo, New York, Milwaukee, Newark, Cleveland. Look who's number 1. Detroit, change in per capita income, minus 6,300. Change in media income, minus 42,000. Change in population, minus 834,000 people have left. And change in poverty rate is 328%. So we just talked about what? The cities that are getting poorer, right? Now let's take a look at crime. CBS News, November 9, 2020, 4 months ago. The most dangerous cities in America ranked. Okay, let's go. Who's number 50? Rochester, New York. You know, who's number 35? New Haven, Connecticut. Who's number 29? Dayton, Ohio. Who's number 20? Chattanooga, Tennessee. Who's number 12? Oakland, California. Who's number 4? Baltimore, Maryland. Who's number 1? Detroit, Michigan is number 1 in 2019. 275 people were murdered. Detroit overlooks St. Louis as the nation's new most dangerous city. Detroit's violent crime rate is 1965 incidents per 100,000. Now, when you see this, we got to go a little bit deeper. Here's some data for you to be thinking about. Detroit's population has plunged over 63% since 1950s. It's down 26% since 2000. Unemployment rate in 2009 cracked 27.8%. Unemployment rate in 2013 at 16%. Even though the population fell 63%, municipal workforce fell just by 40%, adding to the strain on public finances. Again, what does this mean? This is population leaving, which is 63%, but municipal, meaning city employees, only dropped 40%, meaning they had more government employees in Detroit that taxpayers are paying their jobs. They kept their jobs, but people who are creating the jobs, paying the taxes, they left. That is catastrophic for that to be taking place. But it tells you how politics is killing Detroit. Detroit has the highest violence. You see all this. It's 5 times higher than national average. 40% of the street lights don't work. 78,000 structures and 66,000 lots are abandoned. Arson accounts for 1,000 to 12,000 fires per year. 60% of those arson fires are dilapidated or empty buildings. Now let's go even a little bit deeper with Detroit, because we're about to get into New York in a minute, but stay with me here. Detroit owes $14.9 billion in debt. By comparison, the total debt by all the other Michigan cities combined is less than $12.8 billion. Let me say this one more time. Detroit, one city in Michigan, owes 14.9. All the other cities in Michigan, it's a big state, is only $12.8 billion. And what they're bringing in Motor City is 325. Operating deficit last year was more than $325 million. They're not even paying their long-term debt. They're just like, listen, we can't even pay for it. They have no plans of paying the debt. They're just kind of saying, look, we're not in a good situation. We don't know what we're going to be doing. But how do we get here? How do we get here? So Detroit, 1701, founded by a Cadillac. Literally, the French settler named Antoine Cadillac, to be exact. Fact. City is the name Detroit River, which the word Detroit in French means straight. 1760, there's a big war that lasts a long time for Detroit. Eventually, 1796, Detroit finally is under American control. Population in 1890, that's 24 years later, is 205,000 people. Population in 1920, 1 million. From 1910 to 1950, the city was a boom equal to any gold rush we've ever had in America. Fact, in the early 1900s, Detroit was automotive capital of the world. Henry Ford founded Ford Motor Company in 1903, while Dodge Brothers and Chrysler also did business in the same city. 1950, car makers from Chrysler to Cadillac, Studebaker to Dodge had plants in or near the city limits. At 138 square miles, the city could accommodate Boston, San Francisco, and Manhattan, all within its city limits. 1950, look at the population, 1.8 million. From 205,000 to 1.8 million in 60 years. 200,000 out of that 1.8 million worked in manufacturing, which is about 1 in 10. 1959, Berry Gordy launches Motown Records. Who are the big stars he gets? Michael Jackson, Jackson 5, Stevie Wonder, The Temptations, The Supremes, Diana Ross, Marvin Gaye. I'm talking like goats is what they get. 1960, Detroit is the richest city per capita in America, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, which becomes the richest city in the world, is what we're talking about, right? What else did they do there? Stoves, ships, cigars, pharmaceuticals, beer, rail cars were also produced during this time. 2013 population from 1.8 million, it goes to what? 714,000. Fewer than 20,000 people of the 714,000 work in manufacturing. 1 in 50. Remember what it was? 1 in 10, 200,000. It goes from 200,000 to 20,000. That's 90% drop off. The population of Detroit has fallen back 100 years. Obviously, we can go into this, the exodus and what's happened. Why the decline? Racial riots in 1967 engulfed the city, but the most destructive one occurred in 1967. A police confrontation sparked a 5-day riot that left 43 dead, 467 injured, 7,200 arrests, and more than 2,000 buildings destroyed. Now crime, 7 out of 10 crimes are unsolved. You know what this reminds me of is what happened in New York City during COVID, the riots that was taking place. You kind of seen some of the similarities. Watch this. Lost tax revenue when population declined, lack of industry diversification, globalization of car industry, and then obviously a bunch of different things that happened there. White fight, 1960 Detroit population was 1.6 million. Blacks were 29%, whites were 70%. Today's black comprise 84% of the population in Detroit. Let me read this one more time. Blacks were 29%, 70%. It was good to go. Today's 84%, whites is 8%. It was more balanced. Now it's more lopsided on what's taking place, and the poor are taking the biggest hit today in Detroit due to certain policies that the city came out with. So if you look at the other plants, now there are just 2 big factories left in Detroit, Chrysler and GM. The number of vacant housing units doubled in the past decade to nearly 80,000. I can go on and on showing. Let me just give you some interesting data here. Look at this one here. A home costs less than a car in Detroit. Let me say that one more time. You buy a home in Detroit, it's cheaper than buying a brand new car, okay, in Detroit. Median listing, $21,000. Comparable to a car, $21,000, Chevy Malibu. Housing price, 5.2%. Median household income, $29,000. Unemployment, 9.2%. How bad is it when you call 911? You ready? 58 minutes. You call 911. 58 minutes before a cop shows up. That means you call 911, you say, I'm about to rob a bank. You go rob the bank, you leave, the cop still hasn't shown up, and you ran away with your money. That's how bad it is right now in Detroit. 8.7 times the crime by police, 21 minutes approximate time it takes to respond to first calls, fires, only 35,000 of it. You get the idea of what's going on here with the stats and top 10 celebrities that born out of Detroit. Tim Allen, Sonny Bono, Jerry Bruckheimer, Bruce Campbell, Alice Cooper, Eminem, Madonna, Tom Selleck, Jeff Daniels, Francisco. I mean, Detroit was Detroit when you think about this place. I'm going to put the links below for you to be thinking about it. But a bigger
scenario is playing out when it comes to crime in the city of Detroit.
According to the FBI's Crime in the United States report, violent crimes are down 3% year to year. But here's the catch. Detroit still has the highest violent crime rate of any major U.S. city. Defender Sean Lay live tonight to help break down the numbers for us. Sean.
Devin, that is the headline tonight. However, the FBI releasing the stats today, we are told, caught many cities, including Detroit, by surprise. We wanted to know more about these stats. What do they really mean? And we're finding that every city reports crime stats in a different way. So ranking cities, kind of like ranking sports teams, is simply not accurate. Type the words into any search bar. Today's headlines around the world. Detroit leads the nation in violent crime. The Local 4 defenders asked a veteran Detroit police gang unit member to send us to what he believes is the most dangerous corner in the city. He says East Side, Mac at Bewick up to Warren. Dwayne Wade lives right there.
First of all, our neighborhood is safe.
Does he think he lives on the most dangerous corner in the country's most violent city in America?
If you on that side of 8 Mile, you got drugs. If you're on this side of 8 Mile, you got drugs.
Police departments report their numbers of violent crimes to the FBI. Numbers mean people, victims of crime, and the people accused of committing crimes. And Judge Kenneth King at 36th District Court sees them every day. How's your docket these days?
My docket is very, very busy.
And what's it busy with?
It's busy with mostly gun cases.
Context: police are aggressively getting guns off the street, resulting in more arrests. Violent crimes, murder, rape, and robbery. Judge King says poverty plays the largest role, resulting in gangs going to war.
We can't turn a blind eye to the fact that we do have a high crime rate here. Things won't truly turn around until we get a handle on our educational system. That's when we'll turn the corner.
Interesting.
Now, right here, you see white privilege and arrogance on full display by this two-bit ass reporter. Because he's no journalist. Because he was a journalist, he would have these facts straight before he talked to this very esteemed judge, one of the best judges we have here in Detroit at our 36th district, which is Kenneth King. First off, you already see the cracker. Like, look at him. He look dusty even standing next to the fucking judge. You see the judge suit, the type of suit and stuff he have on? All you have to do is, matter of fact, I'm going to put a link in the description to the judge's courtroom, because I used to watch him a lot. There's some other, I got a couple issues with him. I'd be like thinking like me trying to help the police out sometimes. But overall, he's a very, very good judge. Now, the judge stated facts to him about the poverty line. But see, this old two-bit ass reporter has another agenda, because now what he's trying to counter, if you watch the whole thing, he's trying to counter the FBI crime report about Detroit. Now, this is the news job, is to shape people's mind and their impressions. And they're doing this for tourism for Detroit. Again, the FBI gave him the goddamn the crime report stat. And it's been like this since 2019, that we had the highest crime rate, the murder rate, out of any other state in the U.S. So he's trying to dispute facts right here. Then he low key disrespecting the judge, talking about interesting. What the fuck? This is what crackers do when they can't beat you in an intellectual argument. And a lot of black women pick this shit up from them. I guess working right next to the fucking enemy, y'all pick up the mannerisms and how they move and their thought process. But again, if I can even add some videos to this afterwards. But where you will hear them state interesting when you give them facts. First off, he's a fucking coward like most of them, because he didn't say that shit in the judge's face. You watch the video, he didn't say, oh, interesting, because believe me, this judge would have chopped his fucking head off. Best believe Kenneth King would have chopped his fucking head off. So this little punk ass cracker, he waited to afterwards, and if you noted, he didn't say that shit till after the fact. Now, if you look at the beginning of the fucking video when they doing the crime report, they took the worst neighborhood, and I'm trying to teach you how propaganda works. They go to the worst neighborhood that the FBI targeted in their crime report, and then they talk to a resident, and he was like, "Do you feel and they always do you feel this is your neighborhood is unsafe?" But the goddamn crime report got bodies being dropped all over this motherfucker. But they found agreeable, controlled, highly conditioned nigga like they always do, get in front of the fucking camera and start buck dancing and shit. I'm about sick of fucking Channel 4 and they little racist ass, two-bit ass fucking reporters. Cause ain't none of them journalists. They fucking reporters with their own agenda to protect the oppressive fucking class. That's what's going on. So, cause the judge ain't chop his fucking head off, I'ma chop this fucking cracker head off digitally.
Right there from Judge King on when you hear the headline that Detroit is the most violent city in America. Let's dig a little deeper here with the numbers. We're talking 2019 numbers. Most of the violent crime numbers in the city are trending downward. Homicides, however, for 2019 are up. DOJ and FBI say crime is trending downward nationwide. But Devin and Kimberly, also keep in mind, if you're a victim of violent crime, you don't care about these numbers. You care about the crime, and that's what people are focused on. Back to you.
It's so right. What's going on in your house and your neighborhood? I'm curious, though, what Chief Craig has to say about these numbers so far today, Sean.
We were curious too because he usually has a lot to say when it comes to FBI and crime numbers. Today he didn't say anything. His team told us he sticks to what he said at the end of last year, that when we saw a rise in homicides and shootings, he's talking relationships, arguments between people, or gang activity. That's when you see the higher numbers. And that's what we heard in the neighborhoods, that if you're looking after each other, they're not seeing the crime the way they're seeing gang-related crime.
All right, obviously more to come from the fallout of these numbers as we all digest them. All right, Sean.
We need black media. We need strong black media.
The world will be different.
Support us by sharing, liking, and subscribing.